Good evening, my fellow improbable incarnations of sentience. I am your titanically hung host, the Beard Maggot. Speaking of titanically hung, here we have the belly of Lord Copious Abdominus Scruffy, my bowels are bigger than the freeway baloney, Imperial Overseer of Scruffy's Pleasure Bogs, where moist meets greasy in an unholy and offensive union. Welcome to the show, Mr. Baloney.
Evening, Maggot. I'm somewhat alarmed by the sexual ambience generated by Frugal over there, who seems to be trying to look down my friggin' shirt.
It's like when you find animal porn on the internet. Though it's unbelievably disturbing, you just can't stop staring.
Speak for yourself.
It's like they're coming towards me.
Yeah, they do that sometimes. Wanna touch 'em. They feel really weird, and have a bit of a tart flavor as well.
Wait. Yes, you made me imagine that. Excuse me for a moment.
I'm not cleaning that up. Since most people who frequent the pleasure bogs have only blurred memories and intense, inexplicable guilt when they leave, we're taking questions from Scruffy from all of those of you who want to know exactly why you need therapy. First caller, Nurax Blumshamnumson of Orion 7. You're on the Maggott Show with Scruffy Baloney. I can't feel my legs! I believe I should quote from the Scruffy Pleasure Bog's corporate terms of service at this point. The management is not responsible for lack of sensation either physically or emotionally following use of our facilities. And the motto of the users of the pleasure bogs. If all you are is numb, you got off lucky. Next caller. My daughter has Scruffy's face.
I think I should quote for the second rule of Scruffy's Pleasure Bogs. The management is not responsible for the impregnation of one's spouse, siblings, children, pets, bodyguards, or facial orifices.
Boy, you guys must have some serious endurance. Next caller, you're on the Maggott Show.
My bowel movement's got Scruffy's face.
And that brings us to rule number 3. The management is armed. Now we're going to the mailbag. Every few weeks we receive a question for Scruffy's Pleasure Bogs, and this week they're actually relevant. The first question is from Colonel Kurg, the Narksblosh hunter. It reads, Mr. Scruffy Baloney, you fat, bloated Narksblosh mucal discharge half-breed turd, when I finally get my hands on you, I'll see to it that you suffer long. By the time I've finished putting you through the agonizing torments of the 6.24th circle of hell, I'll ram my largest-barreled gun up your abominable backside without the benefit of lubrication, you traitor, and blow you back to the coldest abyss of the Narksblosh equivalent of Hades.
That wouldn't be so bad. In our equivalent of Hades, you get oil massagers from clone supermodels 24 hours a day.
How is that any different from heaven?
In heaven, they feed you cheeseburgers at the same time.
Great. Our next letter is from Kaz, the infamous beaver. It reads, Scruffy, why don't you ever return my calls? You don't even know what our son's name is. It's Quibble, after that little nickname I had for your... I'm not going to read any more of this letter. I don't think I'd want to know what the answer was anyway. Next up is a letter from Zerk Spinestealer of Cybersmut Incorporated. He writes, Dear Scruffy, I paid $18.95 for a trip to the pleasure bogs, and all I got to show for it was permanently blurred vision, incoherent speech patterns, and a sense that reality will never be enough again. That's not a question, Zerk. Idiot.
You're listening to the Maggott Show. I hope you've been isolated by trained psychologists.
Da, 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 da.
You want great chicken? Then come on down to Beardy Maggot's Roasters. Our fresh from the pain pits, full-sized birds are injected with our own patented recipe of wine, sugar, heroin, and 97 special herbs and spices, 92 of which are opium derivatives. We promise that after one bite, you'll never leave. Hell, you won't even be capable of speech. So come on down for our specials on great chicken, beef, and our select line of innocent souls marinated in their own life force for a taste that can't be beat. Beardy Maggot's Roasters. It's the drugs that makes it good. Note, Beardy Maggot's Roasters is currently being indicted for war crimes.
Da, 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 da.
Welcome back to the Maggot Has Nothing Better to Do show. We have a book review for you of yet another children's story by Bloodshed House called Friendly Frida Gets a Disease. The transcript of the review is as follows. I just finished reading a copy of Bloodshed House's newest book. Quite frankly, I'm glad I tore my own eyes out, because otherwise they would still be seeing images of friendly Frida with sticks of butter covered in warts and boils, with the vivid descriptions of her and strap-on Sandy, and that sheep and that god-awful troll with his discount lubricant wagon. To be perfectly frank, I now believe in God, for I have seen hell. I have seen it, and it has blinded me. For the love of God, do not use this book as reading material. Use it as a weapon when you finally lose those final shreds of mercy you never had. You bastards! I hope you burn in Narksplosh hell for this! Signed, Ann Mercer, formerly of Andrews Publishing Incorporated, before her internment in Corset Valley Mental Health Institute.
I gotta get me a copy of that book.
Didn't you blow your own head off?
Maybe?
Maybe? I watched the janitor scrub your gray matter off the wall during the commercial break.
He didn't scrub hard enough. They never scrub hard enough.
No frickin' kidding. I'm bored. Let's listen to the ravings of line 3. Whenever you don't feel loved, do a good deed for somebody else. Like whenever I want to do something nice, I take a dump in a plastic bag and mail it to one of my friends. It gives them a warm feeling to open it up and know that I care so deeply about them.
Hey, Maggot, hand me that mailer.
I'll kill you.
Aw, come on. I promise I won't mail it to you.
Though if you're short on money, you can just do it in an envelope. Just make sure it doesn't have to travel too far. You might get those guys in the white suits coming to your house again.
The white suits, they piss me off.
They can't be half as bad as the missionaries.
That depends on the missionary. Gazportian missionaries are okay if you don't mind the smell they leave on your couch. And the streakite missionaries are cool. They always leave you with a great big bag of prohibited substances. But man, you get them Mormons in here and BAM!
Yeah, anything that has to do with a benevolent God just drives you right up the wall, eh, Frugal?
Hey, the way I look at it, God had to create both you and me. Therefore, he can't be trustworthy.
Good point.
Besides, benevolence is for pussies.
Well, on that enlightening note, we shall bring our show this week to a close. Tune in next week or be spoon-fed a bowl of Tommy the Troll's discount lubricant. You know it's discount